E-T-S! Jets!
Wow, Joe, you're pumped.
We are back. Joe Barone.
Chris Barone.
That's right, the Beeline Podcast. I'm pumped, Chris. We got to win, and that's all that matters.
I guess, yeah, but at the same time, was that the best thing that could happen?
Was that too much energy to start a podcast?
I think so. For one win, yeah, definitely.
Embarrassing, but I will take it. And that's kind of the theme we're going to go with for the rest of this show today. We have 3 guests, all of them who will provide somewhat optimistic, somewhat pessimistic types of
Somewhat miserable, yeah.
Yeah, because there was a lot of talk around social media and around the league about the whole Jet situation, that they win on Sunday against the Rams. They really mess up their chances of getting the number 1 pick, which overall the consensus is what? Trevor Lawrence? So,
obviously.
Right. So they say, all right, we don't want Trevor Lawrence basically with a win against the Rams, who, by the way, the Rams should be embarrassed that they lost.
Well, you know what, Joe? If you actually watch the game, Sean McVay lost the game by himself.
Yeah. 2 back deep throws.
2 bombs on 3rd and 4th down made no sense at all.
Terrible.
But you know what? I'm pumped to hear these fans' views because if you listen to sports radio, they have no clue what the hell they're talking about, I feel like.
Why is that?
I don't know, because how do you root for your team to lose?
Well, that's the debate that we're going to get into a lot today. We have 3 fans who are all pumped and ready to go. I want to say pumped, actually. I want to take that back. They're kind of a little up in the air. I was talking to them a lot, and they are just confused. They don't know what to feel. And that's the worst feeling to have right now as a Jet fan, because obviously you don't want your team to lose, right? But at the same time, you want them to get good draft picks, number 1 draft pick, which would be potentially franchise-altering. So we'll talk about that more. And also, this is the type of week that in general we would usually be getting pumped up because of the holidays. Obviously, Christmas time is here. Hanukkah, whoever celebrated, happy Hanukkah to you.
Yeah, happy Hanukkah.
This week, that would have been the perfect time, getting ready. NBA season starts.
Tonight.
Nets, are you a big fan of the Nets, obviously? I know you're rooting for Kevin Durant.
Oh, yeah, totally.
But that's going to be good. That's going to be good. What was that?
My phone, again.
All right, that is live podcast recording for you. Thank you so much. All right, without further ado, let's bring on in our first fan. His name is Dan Hanson. Let's see. Dan Hanson is actually a friend of the show. We had him in volume number 1. Let's see if we can get him on right now. And
look at this kid.
Dan Hanson is decked out in his Joe Klecko jersey and Santa hat in green and white. How are you, Mr. Dan Hanson?
Oh, man, I'm doing great.
That was not convincing at all. All right, so tell me, how long have you been a Jets fan and why?
Yes, it's funny because Yes, pretty much. It's funny. I was talking to my friend the other day, and he was saying on the phone to me, he's like, "When I get home tonight, I'm gonna kick the crap out of my dad for making me a Jets fan when I was, X years old or whatever it was. Like, he did this to me." And I said to him, "Look, man, like, I unfortunately can't do that to anybody because I did this to myself. I thought back in like 2006 at the age of 10, oh, Chad Pennington, the Jets, they're cool. Like, I'm gonna like those guys. They're green." So that's how long it's been, and it's been something.
Well,
is that the only reason why you chose them?
Yeah, I mean, actually, no, there are a couple of reasons. So, again, I liked Pennington. I liked Curtis Martin. I liked, Hofstra used to have Jets Fest all the time, so you'd go over there and, watch training camp and watch they'd have, the giant slide you can go down, and that was always fun. So, it's also, I mean, it's weird because they're not local as far as, where they play their games on Long Island at all, at least not anymore, not since the 80s, but, they used to have, at least have training camp here and have, have the, again, the Jets Fest and all those things. And so, it was fun. So that's, I guess, where it stemmed from originally.
Would you support a move back to Queens?
Hell yeah. That'd be fun. Imagine they clear the, the junkyards and around Citi Field and do something there.
Well, Steve Cohen is going to make that into a whole little baseball district. So I don't know about that. But if the Islanders move to Belmont, and then you have the Mets all of a sudden, and the Jets, and who knows? But
at least I won't be able to get season tickets anymore. I can go out of my misery,
Yeah, well, we're talking about Chris, who lives in Jersey. Dan lives in Long Beach, so it's in Long Island. So that's why he's a little biased there. But so I guess the best question is, what are your thoughts?
On Long Island, come on.
I'm sorry. What are your thoughts about Sunday's awesome victory over the Rams?
Me. I've tried to support Sam Darnold, from day one. I know he has talent, but at the moment, I gotta be all in on the tank too. And when you have a generational talent like Trevor Lawrence in the draft, that's you want something like that. You don't. I mean, a meaningless victory. What's that going to get you at the end of the day? To me, so I don't doubt Sam Darnold at all. I think. Well, let's just say Jeff Lawrence, for example. I think if Darnold goes somewhere, I think he will have tremendous success if he has the right coaching core, and that kind of alludes me to my next point where we've talked about this. Even if Trevor Lawrence comes here, and nothing changes as far as coaching, and which God forbid, nothing's going to change. It's a cultural thing with this franchise, and you've seen it with so many other franchises that start anew and start get the right people. The win on Sunday, just I feel like it's just going to lead to more of the same. If they're going to just stick with the same stuff, what's going on. I'm so sick of Adam Gase.
You know what, Joe? He seems like all of us right now. He's just confused. He really doesn't know what to say.
All right, so take a step back off your ledge, Dan, because we're going to talk to you for a second. I was listening to FAN the other day, and Craig Carton was saying that this franchise has set itself back 15 years because of that win on Sunday. And potentially, if you look at it, probably 15 years from now, when Trevor Lawrence is dominating in this league, and let's say he's not a New York Jet quarterback in 15 years, we're going to be saying, yeah, I guess he was right. But at this moment, I don't buy that. I think a lot can happen, especially if you, like you said, Dan, the right people in place. When it comes to the management, where you have Joe Douglas leading the helm, where he looks like he has an idea of what he's doing. He drafted Becton, who was absolutely a stud.
Quinnen's a stud also, yeah.
Exactly. So now they have a couple of guys. Mims is also a stud. So they have a couple of guys in there that they've drafted right. So if he has a GM in place, that's step one. Step two is finding out who the hell the quarterback is. Who is Sam Darnold? He has another year left on his contract. You can either pick it up or whatnot. You have to decide on what you're going to do. And I understand there was a couple of people that, when I used to work for Jets Insider, Chris Nimbley, who was the editor-in-chief and publisher now, he was saying, he wrote a really good article the other day. You should check it out. He was saying that, this is the type of nightmare scenario for the Jets because you don't know what's going to happen with Sam Darnold as far as, let's say he kills it next year with some new weapons and whatnot. Are you going to pay him based on that 1 year? Or are you going to say, oh, we don't know what we have in this quarterback because the first 3 years weren't that great, especially this year, and then you're basing it off of one. You get what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, but you could go.
No, go.
I mean, you could say it's 1 year, but they haven't led him to anything. They haven't had anybody around him. How are you going to say that he's not the guy if he's taking two-step drops and getting hit?
Right, which is not what I've been saying, Dan.
Yeah, which you need people around them. So what does Dan think?
I think so. Let's just say they get the number one pick this year, or let's say they don't get the number one pick this year. They don't get Trevor Lawrence, and Darnold's the quarterback next year, and he absolutely kills it. If he absolutely kills it, and there's new coaching involved, and he has more pieces that he can work with, I think you sign him.
That's why you want it, right? This is what we all want. We want Darnold to do well. We're not rooting for him to do shit, I mean, obviously, I don't understand. I never understood. And listen, I was a couple of years ago when it was the "Suck for Sam" movement. I was all aboard that because we didn't have a young quarterback, right? We had Josh
Yeah,
McCown.
Josh McCown.
Okay, so at that point, I'm like, we have to lose because we need something. Darnold is that young quarterback, so why not build around him and support him? So, which is my next point, which is what I want to say is, why would you want to live with an 0-16 stain on your franchise forever? That does not leave you. The Lions and Browns will always be remembered for complete and utter garbage, and I didn't want that as a Jet fan.
Yeah, I mean, look again. I'm not like a huge college football guy personally, but I remember the first time I watched Trevor Lawrence, I was just thought to myself like, wow, this guy is something, man. Like this guy is truly something special.
Right.
And look, like I think it was also a case where, and I feel like a lot of Jet fans are thinking this right now also, that Sam Darnold doesn't lack talent. Clearly, like he has his like I don't know if you remember the pass to Barrios in the end zone that Barrios dropped.
That was a nice pass.
That's a touchdown. That's a touchdown. But like I think after a while and after after a few years, and we're getting to that point where it's a few years, next year's already crazy. That's time flies. But if it after a while, like I feel like if it just isn't working in place, it never will. So if you have the opportunity to get Lawrence, then go for it. But again, like we've talked about, there's so many different scenarios on the Jets. Spin the wheel, see what happens. And I think it's also Joe, as you mentioned before, like you want to see your quarterback do well. But like in Jets fandom and Jets country, just over the years, you never. It's weird because you have moments where like you don't want to do well today, but like you might do a little bit better tomorrow. But it's tough with the Jets, because like
hold on a second. Obviously, we're getting the peanut gallery.
He left.
No, so good. Bring him back. Obviously, he's messing around with you with the lights.
Yeah.
Bring him back because we need him on. Because now we're talking about one of the biggest Jet fans. Here we go. A friend of the show. Here is Pat Burrow, our uncle, his father. Dan.
Not only am I a Jet fan and another loser, Notre Dame.
So what did you think about Trevor Lawrence kicking the shit out of the Fighting Irish?
What did I think about it? Notre Dame never wins a big game.
So did you, now that you wanted that, were you part of the whole 0-16 movement?
No, of course not. I never root for my team to lose.
See,
always hope for my team to win.
That's what I'm saying all along. And Dan is like a little confused because you want that generational pick, right?
Right.
But at the same time, if you get the number 2 pick, let's say you draft the offensive lineman, Sewell. What's his name?
Sewell, yeah.
Right.
Sewell, right. Apparently, he's a can't-miss offensive lineman. Now you have Becton and Sewell on both sides of your offensive line.
Right.
That's fucking great. So why not take him?
What's the guarantees with Lawrence? If anybody wants to talk about Lawrence, there was another guy in my generation called Ryan Leaf that was a can't miss neither.
Oh, right.
And the guy sucked.
It happens.
The Jets need a lot more than a quarterback.
they sure do.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, they need a lot more.
Wow.
And you know what? If you just look at Joe Burrow, they picked him. He was can't miss. He had nobody around him to help him, and look at what happened to him. So
yeah. Although Burrow,
football's a team sport.
Yeah, you're right.
Football's a team sport.
You're 100% right. You're 100% right. Let me ask you a question now that you're here. Before you go, what is one Christmas wish that you would want as a sports fan, a New York sports fan?
I want Notre Dame to kick the shit out of Alabama, and I know that ain't happening.
Today's your Christmas wish from Pat Burrow. Thanks so much.
Thank you. No problem.
Turn the light.
Right. Joe, so a friend of mine sent a picture to me today where it was a picture of a Christmas tree, or there were 2 pictures, both of Christmas trees, and one had Trevor Lawrence under it, one had George Springer under it, and he said, which would you rather have? And I said to him straight up, I was like, George Springer, and it's not even a question because I do not trust the New York Jets with anything.
I could get that. There's this whole notion, though, of the Jets can't develop a quarterback. I don't know about that.
Yeah, but listen, the whole Trevor Lawrence thing, he's playing with 3 guys that are probably going pro. So you got to look at that, too.
That's another thing. I've heard a lot of arguments like that he is playing. Even when Lawrence was out with COVID, they still played well, no?
They almost beat Notre Dame, number one. And number two, you know what? He's probably going to be great. But is it really the worst thing in the world if you have to go 0-16 to get him? So
that's what I'm saying. I don't want to do that. But, Dan, I have to say this. I asked my uncle this. What is one Christmas wish you want as a New York sports fan? Is it George Springer?
I mean, if like I gotta think about like all my teams real quick. I mean, like the main thing.
Matt Barzell signing a contract with the Islanders?
No, because that's happening. Like get out of my face. That's happening.
Cap space.
It'll happen. Don't worry.
it'll time out. No,
Don't worry about it. But I honestly like I can't take another second of Adam Gase, man.
Dude, that's my biggest fear, too. That win, if they win out, oh, no.
No, I'm telling you,
no.
There is zero chance that Adam Gase is back next year.
You know what?
Zero chance.
Well, like Joe, I'm telling you, you know, like I said about Barzell, like I have faith that will happen. This franchise is just.
We're talking about Adam Gase. I just want to ask you one more question.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Chris, your screen completely froze. So Dan was talking. Don't interrupt him.
What do you mean? I was talking first.
Dan, finish your thought about Barzell.
No, I mean, like I'm just saying, like I have complete faith that the Islanders will sign Barzell. I haven't even been reading the news on that because I just don't believe that he won't be an Islander next year.
Right. Yeah,
this year, whatever. 2 weeks from now, basically.
Excited.
But like with the Jets, they have just completely let me down on so many. Like I was at the Butt Bumble. I've seen things, you know.
So are we. Yep.
Having Adam Gase come back, I can totally see it. Just because it's the Jets.
Is Adam Gase the most hated man in New York?
Yeah.
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 Well, maybe Dolan. I don't know. Like,
no, I have a burning hatred for both, but Gase more.
There are some Ranger fans that really don't care about James Dolan.
I'm not talking about the Rangers, man. I'm talking about the Knicks.
Right, what I'm saying is, who is currently the most hated man in New York? And I guess it's like, unequivocally, it's Adam Gase.
Honestly, though, yes, I agree. But I think, like, at the moment, this week, it's probably Frank Gore.
Frank Gore. Listen, you got to respect Frank Gore.
Absolutely. For sure.
He's playing his ass off. I got to give him credit for it.
But I'm just saying, like, the fan base as a whole right now does not have a lot of great things to say about him.
Yeah, no, I understand. I've seen a lot on social media, and it's kind of dirty. It's kind of dirty.
Also, real quick, what are we wearing? We got Gastineau, and what's the other one?
Yeah, I have Mark Gastineau.
I got Revis.
99.
Nice. Very good. I got my Joseph Klecko.
Joe Klecko should be in the Hall of Fame.
Should absolutely be in the Hall of Fame.
He will be eventually. I got one more question for him.
Okay.
Since I got yelled at last time. Since you don't want Gase, who do you want as the coach?
I'm a big fan of the Kansas City offensive coordinator, Bieniemy. Yeah, that guy. I mean, like I've seen some of his speeches to his players, and like I'm all in on that.
Run through the ball,
and
right?
like I've seen what he's been able to do over there. Like, give me it.
The only bad thing is Houston has a lot more to offer, so they're looking for a coach.
And you know, there was some talk. Obviously, if the Jets got the number one pick, obviously the Jets would be the most desirable job. Cap space, number one pick, big market, that type of action. I get that, but you know, it'd be interesting to see. Dan, lastly, in a COVID-type situation, what are you doing for the holidays, and how are you playing safe?
Yeah, so it's just myself and my family. My mom's one friend from the city is coming over, but she's isolating, and she's taking a test. She came over for Thanksgiving. She tested negative also, so she'll be joining us, and that's it. Like, I mean, I'm delivering gifts to my friends here and there. Like, I'm driving around dropping stuff off, but that's basically it, man.
That's nice. All right.
What about you? How's Graham?
She's good. She is completely recovering. She's doing really well and staying healthy. She got a new dryer, so she's very excited about that. But Grandma is doing very well.
Great.
Thank you so much. So we're staying healthy here in the Barone household.
Good.
Doing as best as we possibly can, rooting for our teams. Hockey comes back next month. I mean, there's no better feeling. The vaccine is out, so that's great too.
Oh, the And Joe, one more thing that you and I could absolutely agree on right now, as a Ranger fan and an Islander fan here.
Yeah.
So the Devils put out a tweet today that said like New Jersey pizza is the best pizza in the world or whatever, and I think Islander fans and Ranger fans can agree on this one that the Devils can take a hike with that one.
Yeah, they're full of shit. Obviously, we all know that New York pizza is obviously.
Calm down, bud. Calm down.
And Chris knows it too. He knows it too. Obviously, we want LMB every time he comes here, but that's it. Dan, thank you so much. Have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Dan.
Stay safe, and you are welcome anytime to vent about the New
Merry
York.
Christmas.
And
You too. Merry Christmas to both of you. I'll talk to you guys soon. All right.
All right,
You too,
Dan.
man.
All right. Adios.
Welcome back. Segment number 2. This segment is sponsored by Slice of Heaven Pizzeria in Long Beach Island, New Jersey. And, of course, Slice of Heaven, the owner, is our next guest.
Yeah, it's going to be great, guys. I hope you love it.
Can they hear you now?
What are you trying to look like me? I just realized that. What the fuck?
What a way to start. Donnie, you even combed your hair for us. How nice.
Yeah, I just got out of the shower, too.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
All right,
See
so
how he has all his footballs? That's what I wanted to do. I have my jet helmets, but everything's on that side. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, it's fine. It's fine. We introduced you as the segment that's sponsored by Slice of Heaven Pizzeria. Of course, you are the owner of Slice of Heaven down in Long Beach. Donnie, we have to say, I have to start off by saying this. I found this quote that I think you would resonate with. If you wanted us to lose, you're not a real fan, honestly. The great Mekhi Becton said that. What is your thoughts about that?
Yeah, that pissed me off. I'm on a bunch of the Jet websites on Facebook, and one of them is like 1 million Jet fans or 10 million Jet fans, or the largest Jet fan group in the whole world.
Right.
So yesterday I went on it and I said, I wrote, how dare Mekhi Beckham say something like that? I've been a Jet fan for almost 50 years of my life.
Right.
I was too young to see the Super Bowl because I was only 3. Okay? I seen them get good in the 80s and then blow games apart. I remember Joe Namath getting cut in 76 when we lost them, whatever year it was. Okay? So I never seen nothing good. And then you get Mekhi Beckham, who just signed a multi-million-dollar contract, comes along and opens his mouth and says, we're not real fans if we want them to lose. It's not that we want them to lose, but winning did absolutely nothing. And it's not because I'm a Trevor Lawrence fan, okay? Because guys come out of college, they could suck. My thing was we get the number 1 pick, and you know what? We can get Trevor Lawrence. We could pick anybody we want. We could trade it for a bushel of draft picks, and hopefully 1 or 2 of them hit. I don't want my team to lose. I never want my team to lose. But for the good of my team, it would have been better if they lost. And how dare he? Because I want to know when his rookie contract is up, is he going to turn around and say, I'm a Jet. I don't want extra money. No, I'm going to sign for the minimum. Bullshit. He's going to want every penny just like all of them, like Jamal Adams. I'm a Jet for life. Until it came to money, and then you wanted more.
Right.
Bullshit.
Which
That's all.
in the end, Jamal Adams ended up not getting paid by the Seahawks. He's still on the same contract.
Yeah, but he told the Seahawks that, listen, I'll come over there and you guys got time. He wasn't putting a gun to their head like he did with us. But that trade turned out great. I wish they would have traded him to the Cowboys because we would have got a better pick this year. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But we did get 2 number 1s. But them 2 number 1s could be great players or they could suck. It's all if this guy Douglas knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
You know, he's like my dad.
You broke up. Froze up.
Because my dad even said with Dallas.
You got to repeat your question. You broke
Again?
up your internet, man. You got to work on that internet.
No.
Me or him?
Him.
Yeah, I know I do. Thank you. But I said that Donnie's like my dad, trading him to Dallas.
Listen.
Jamal Adams.
Listen
Can you
to
hear
me. Yeah, I can hear you. We can hear you. Yes. I want to answer your question. Or answer what you just
All
said.
right, go.
That's about the only thing that me and your father agree upon. Because I spoke to him yesterday, and he was like, oh, well, and he started crying. I said, you know what? Shut up. He started with the Irish, with Notre Dame, okay? So you're saying, oh, if they could draft these horrible players grade-wise, they would have better players on the team. Shut up already. Shut up. Okay, root for your team, and that's it. That's what you should do. That's why everybody's got a comment about this, but nobody realizes it. Suffer for 50 years. See what the hell is going on, okay? Mekhi Beckham, any of these guys. Sam Darnold. I mean, I know he's caught in the middle, and he had no chance. No chance at all with us. We have no wide receivers, no offensive line. We have nothing. No running backs, no nothing, okay? But at least in that case, he what do you call it? He doesn't blow. He doesn't open his mouth. That's the one thing I like about him.
He's
he toes the company. Yeah, he toes the company line. He really does.
Yeah, and he defends his coach. I mean,
but on the flip side, on the fan today, what's his name? Lombardo, the ex-GM.
Okay.
He's on NFL Network. He came along, and he said they have a rating system, and Donald was like a 59, and to be good, you have to be 69, 70 or higher. 59, you got no shot, and they don't think he has a shot. And he loved Donald coming out of college.
But this is what I don't understand, though. And I was talking this about everybody who mentioned something about Donald. How can everybody and their mother be completely wrong about this kid, right? Everybody, the same thing about Lawrence. They weren't saying he was a generational guy, but they were saying that Donald would be dominating the league for 10, 15 years to come after that. How can everybody be so wrong, right? So at some point, yes, it is partially his fault. But at what point do we also say, you know what? Most of it is actually this head coach. Most of it is the supporting cast or lack thereof. Like you said, Donnie, there's no receivers besides. I mean, Crowder's solid, but he's not a number one. Mims is
Crowder gets triple teamed.
Yeah, he does. No, what you're saying is 100% right, Joe. But that's the problem. Yeah. You know what? We look at it and we say, well, okay, we got our team, and these guys are going to sign. They signed Crowder. They didn't sign Robbie Anderson, which was a mistake and turned out to be. But imagine before you guys were little kids. In 1998 or 99, Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf came out. Yeah. They came out 1 and 2, and the Colts were like, do we take Ryan Leaf? Do we take Peyton Manning? Blah, blah, blah. And this went on for months, and they chose right, and they took Manning, okay? They could have took Leaf, who turned out being a bust. There's no perfectional thing to this thing. But again, my thing is, the thing that pisses me off, there's no perfectional structure. You can't, what's the word I'm looking for? There's no definition on how to draft a guy. But I'd rather have the number 1 pick than the number 2 pick. And that's what pissed me off about beating the Rams. Yeah. That's an embarrassment.
Don't you find this so funny, though? The 1 year the Jets are so terrible, right? 1 in 15.
Yep.
And there's another 1 in 15 team that's on the way.
How about it's never been done in the history of football?
That's what I'm saying.
Wound up 1 in 15, and it's got to be the fucking year that we. Excuse me. It's got to be the year that we do it, because this is the Jets. You know what? It's just our luck. Everything is just our luck with this team. It really is. It's just getting ridiculous.
I know.
How many other things can go wrong with this team?
A lot can. They can win out and Gase gets rehired.
Well, that will not happen.
That's not going to happen. But you want to know something? And again, going back to what Beckham said, and I love him. He's a great player, and I think you can build around him. But this thing's sticking with me, and it's pissing me off, because according to what he said, then you got to get rid of Joe Douglas. Because if you go along them lines, this year, come on, the Jets knew what they were doing, trading these guys in the middle of the season, not signing Robbie Anderson. They knew they were going to suck this year to get a high pick.
1 year contracts for a lot of guys, too.
Right.
We saw Jordan Jenkins get a 1 year contract.
Yep.
Who else?
And how about the linebacker? What's his name? The one we signed 2 years ago. He had the great game against Buffalo. And then
Mosley.
Okay, so now next year you get him back. He hasn't played in 2 years, so hopefully he's okay to play. If he is, you just acquired an All-Pro for nothing, is what I'm saying. So next year you're going to be better. So this year they probably went to him and said, listen, we're not going to screw around with you. Just take the year off. And that's what they probably did. So that's like throwing a game or throwing a season. And so Joe Douglas has been doing this.
But, Donnie, here's my question.
Yes.
If they're throwing it, why'd they fire Greg Williams?
Because you had to. It was all over the paper. He made a bonehead move in front of everybody so the whole world could see it. His was totally out there. Listen, Woody Johnson owns the team. Everybody can't stand Woody Johnson. If I'm Woody Johnson, last week or 2 weeks ago, I say, I got 3 games left. If we lose all 3, we get Trevor Lawrence or the number 1 pick or whatever you want to say. You know what? Bring, gets on the phone, calls up the guy who does his lawn. Listen, Mike, lawn guy, yeah, you're going to be coach next week. How could you hire your lawn guy as the coach? Well, our team sucks. I want to try somebody. We're losing. We haven't won. Hey, we got that quarterback who's our 4th-string guy that we drafted. What's his name? Anybody remember?
James Morgan.
I want to start him. I want to see how the hell he does. So now you're not throwing games, but you're doing things. Yes.
You're making it low key.
Yes.
Technically.
Yeah, that's it. No, that's exactly it, Chris. You're 100% right. That's what you're doing. And you know what? What's going to wind up happening? We're going to get somehow, some way, we're going to get screwed. And I don't know how because I didn't look at the standings. But that last game, Belichick is going to say, screw it. We're going to win them. So instead of getting the 1st pick or the 2nd pick, we're going to wind up 3, 4, or 5 or somewhere down the road. Like last year, we were on the way to the number 1 pick or the top couple. And what do we do? We win a bunch of games. Yeah, for what reason?
Yeah, they finished 7-9, right? Didn't they finish 7-9 last
year? Yeah. For what reason?
Yeah, we started 1-6, 1-7, and they
something bad. Yeah,
something terrible. And they went 7-9 last year.
Right.
They finished the season 6-1.
Right, and
6-1. Yep. Yeah.
What did that do? Oh, it's going to send us momentum for next year.
Wow.
Nothing.
And there's the Jets' luck.
Right.
They win 6 out of 7 or whatever they did. So now you would think people would buy season tickets. Oh, COVID comes and there is no season ticket. That's the Jets' luck.
Although
this has been going on for 50 years.
It's good though that there was. I mean, you hate to say it's good that there was COVID, but the one bright side is that Chris and all of the Burrows in that household and my Uncle Butch, they didn't have to spend any money on the
You're all morons.
Yeah.
Okay? I've been telling Butchie, UB, for years. Butch, what are you going to the games for? First of all, you guys sit in the nosebleed, so you can't see nothing. Okay?
You're
then
been to the game.
What's that?
You've never even been there. How do you know what I said?
I've been to them. Let me tell you something. I used to go with his father to games and with UB to games. We used to sit all over them. Well, I'm sorry, your father wouldn't sit up there. UB would sit up there because he would pay the guy $5 to get through the door. Okay? So, yeah, he would. Yeah, Butch, why are we sitting all the way up here?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, don't worry. Because he's tipped the guy $5 to get 3 of us in for $5. That's why.
Right.
Okay? But that's another story with your uncle because he's another guy. I love him, but he's a moron. Okay? You're a moron for going to games. I am not going. Listen, my buddy runs that whole ticket thing at the Meadowlands or whatever it's called nowadays. Okay? MetLife or whatever the hell it's called. I get 50-yard line tickets, face value. I could go to every game at the 50-yard line. Some games I don't even have to pay for the tickets, and I don't go because I'm sick of them. You idiots, they're 3-9, and you guys are, oh, we're going to the Jet game. Come on. And then your father's the best. Oh, we got the tailgate. Okay, so you throw a nice steak on the grill in 10-degree weather and you're freezing your balls off. I'd rather be at home eating a nice juicy steak in front of my TV instead of being at a game watching what? Watching shit. It's ridiculous. It's just year after year after year. It's just there is no end in sight.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. If they get Lawrence by some reason, Jacksonville wins, and because Mitch Trubisky and the Bears have not won either one of them have not won more than 3 games.
They're inconsistent.
Right, yeah. So there's a chance they could lose.
Yeah.
They could, but then watch we win another game. I'm telling you, that's the Jet logic. It's just amazing. It's like how much more as fans can we put up? Yeah, how could a team be under the salary cap in today's day and age? Teams are crying they're over the salary cap. We're under the salary cap, and we have a horrible team. What does that tell you?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just management from the top all the way down. And I'm not convinced with Joe Douglas. I really am not. I'm not.
It's still early on Douglas, but I will say this. In that last game of the year, Patriots are already out.
They're losing.
Belichick is going to start Jarrett Stidham. And
yeah.
he's going
Kim Newton's done nothing all the year, but go ahead.
Stidham sucks. So
Yep.
my point is, he's going to be like, oh, we have to see what we have in
Yep.
Stidham and
Yep.
let him start. And Stidham is going to throw 3 picks to Marcus May, to Bless Austin, or whoever, cornerback, whatever.
My man Bryce Hall.
Bryce Hall, right, exactly.
Right.
He's going to throw picks after picks after pick to our secondary, which is terrible in general. And they're going to win that game. I guarantee you they're going to finish off with 2 wins this year.
And listen, it's what you're saying is not out of the realm of reality. I agree with that 100%. That's possible. First of all, what jersey do you have on?
Me?
Is that 99 or 66?
That's 99.
You have a Gastineau jersey?
It's Gastineau. It's right. With the
Oh, I would have worn mine if I knew that.
yeah, Mark.
It's the only 2 jerseys I got left: Gastineau and Namath. That's
Oh,
it.
I gotta say this: Are you in the ballpark? Are you in like the group of people that believe that after a certain age, adults should not wear jerseys?
No, here's what I agree with. Okay, I wouldn't buy a Donald jersey. I wouldn't buy a Trevor Lawrence jersey. You know what I'm trying? I wouldn't buy a Beckham jersey. Okay, Beckham. Because these guys are younger than me.
Right.
But I would wear a Namath jersey, which I do, or Gaston, or Klecko. You know, guys like that. You know what I'm trying to say?
Guys you rooted for growing up.
Yeah, but no, I would not wear a Donald jersey. I think that's ridiculous. But as far as wearing jerseys, if guys are around your age or older, I would, I have a bunch of Ranger jerseys, and every jersey I have are guys that are my age or older.
Right.
I wouldn't wear like what's that guy's name, the goalie on their team?
Oh, Shesterkin?
No, the other guy that just left. I can't think. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Lundqvist. I wouldn't wear a Lundqvist jersey because of the age. Yeah, I'm older than him. You know what I'm trying to say? And some of these guys, I'm old enough to be their fathers,
Right.
So, which is scary because I don't feel that way. But at 54, I am, So, yeah, I believe you can wear jerseys, but I don't. I find it weird when you go to a game or you watch it on TV and you see guys out there and the guy's got a Sam Darnold jersey and he's in his 60s. I mean, it's kind of weird. You know what I'm trying to say? Especially.
I understand.
Yeah, especially when we have Joe Namath, which is another thing I hate about Facebook. You go on Facebook and these people rip Joe Namath apart. He sold his soul to the devil. The guy got us the only thing that's ever been good, and people rip him apart.
Well, you don't think he sold his soul to the devil?
Whether he did or not, he got us a championship.
That's right.
He got us something we haven't done before. Done before.
Probably never again.
Yeah, probably. Unfortunately, never again. Which is not. You know what? I told Chris. I don't know if you know or whatever. I told Joe years ago, 13 years ago, when my son was born. Joe, I'm going to give you a ton of money. You pick a new team out. When my son gets older, you and my son every year, I'm going to send you to opening day.
I remember that conversation.
Pittsburgh. It could be Florida. It could be if they have a team in Egypt. I'll send you there. I don't care what other team. I just don't want to make my son a Jet fan, and I want to get you off of being a Jet fan. No, he didn't listen to me. So what are we doing? The 3 idiots now are sitting talking about because they won a game. I'm aggravated. My blood pressure's up because they won a game. Yeah. How crazy is that?
Yeah, it's the worst.
What other fan base gets mad when their team wins a game? That's part being a Jet fan. That's ridiculous.
But it goes back to the point that we said before. A win, if you wouldn't, people in most years when you're going for 0-16, you want to win because you don't want to go 0-16.
That stigma. Who gives a shit about being 0-16? Listen to me. You do, and you know what?
0-16. The Lions.
Why? What does it matter, Joe? Let me ask you a question.
It's embarrassing.
A Giant fan is going to say to you, "Hey, your team went 0-16 20 years ago, 20 years from now, right?" And then your same Giant fan is going to say to you, "You haven't won a Super Bowl now in 70-something years." I'm talking 20 years down the road. It doesn't matter. Who cares what people say?
No, I get it.
Who cares? I don't care. When you get older, you'll realize that. Who cares? You have your group of friends that like your team. You know who they are. You have your group of fans that you hang out with. You know who they are. I understand with the stigma, but you know what? I suffered through the 70s with the Jets and some of the losses they had. And then going into the 80s, A.J. Dewey was a linebacker for the Dolphins. Richard Todd said, "Oh, I want him on my team," and threw the ball to him 3 times in the playoff game. Okay? 10-0 against Denver. We 10-0. We got a half left. We win that game. We win the Super Bowl.
Could have been more. Could have been 17, right?
Yes, it could have
Just
been.
meant to bring that up.
But what I'm trying to say is, we had that and we blew that. You understand what I'm trying to say? So what happened? So the next year we're all set, and Testaverde gets hurt. I mean, do you see what happens every single year? We had the best coach in the league, GM/GM in Parcells. He says, "Okay, I'm stepping down to give the job to Belichick." Look what Belichick has done since then. But he says, "No, I don't want to be. I'm leaving. I'm leaving as head coach." How many other teams has this happened in any sport? Don't have to be just football. There's no other teams in no other sport that this happens to.
Yeah.
None.
That's
Even the Mets got lucky this year, getting what's his name, Steve Cohen. Okay, that's going to change the whole culture. You know, that's what they need. They need somebody to come in there as coach or whatever and change the whole culture of that team or owner.
So would you want Bill Cowher?
I did, but it's too late now. How long he hasn't coached in so long?
That's another thing. That's the bad part about him. He hasn't coached in a while, but the problem is they need, like you said, they need somebody that could change the entire thing, like Parcells did in the late '90s. You know,
So what you got to do?
Go tight to this. You know.
Yeah. So what they got to do is go to one of these teams. I know you can't do the Patriots because it seems like anybody that comes from the Patriots.
Sean Payton.
Sean Payton.
Yeah, the guy from the coach of the Saints.
Yeah, you want him?
Yeah, why not?
What has he done? He won one Super Bowl.
Oh,
Stop. Wait. He's won one Super Bowl with a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Right.
With an explosive offense. A couple of years they had a decent defense. How long has he been coaching for?
There's a stat that says that they were undefeated in the last 10 games, or whatever, when Drew Brees was not playing.
Yeah.
That's a good.
And again,
Right.
how many Super Bowls have they won?
Right, I get that. No, I get it.
He's won the same amount of Super Bowls as the guy in Dallas,
McCarthy.
the Irish guy. What the hell is he?
McCarthy.
Yeah, he's won the same amount as him. And there's another thing that's a pet peeve. I want to just throw it out there real quick. What's his name? Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers. You guys think he's good?
I do, yeah.
Okay, Hall of Fame guy.
Yeah.
If the giant punter, which I can't think of his name right now, doesn't punt the ball to Jackson of the Eagles and he runs it back for a touchdown, the Giants win that game, okay? The Green Bay, the Giants make the playoffs. Green Bay doesn't make the playoffs, and Aaron Rodgers is sitting there with zero Super Bowl. Zero. Just like Sean Payton has one, Aaron Rodgers has one. These guys, I don't believe in them. You got to get a young guy in his late 30s, okay? A defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator, and you got to hope that's the guy. Unfortunately, the team that you're supposed to pick off is the Patriots, but Belichick tells them just enough so they can coach. He doesn't tell them everything because every time, maybe the Giants got lucky getting this Joe Judge from the Patriots.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Not many guys that's come out of Belichick's system. Patricia sucked.
That's what I'm saying. It just seems like guys don't work out of it.
Right.
You know, but
Andy Reid is another story. Andy Reid is a lot of guys that come out and.
Yeah, but you listen to me. Living where I live now, okay? I'm an hour away from Philly, so there's all Philly fans down here. They want to hang Andy Reid. He sucks. He's this. He's that. Then he goes to Kansas City. Finally wins a Super Bowl. Good for him. Happy for the guy. He's been through a hard life with his kids.
Yeah.
Coach, yeah. I feel bad for the guy. I really do. But they used to rip him apart. They didn't want to have nothing to do with him. Doug Peterson. How long has he been an Eagle coach? 3 years? 4 years?
Something like that. I think.
Yeah, like 4.
Yeah. They're trying to fire him over here now.
Oh, I know.
The guy won a Super Bowl and you're trying to fire him after a couple of years, 4 years, whatever?
Yeah.
I got one question because you're talking about Joe Judge.
Yes.
Would you want a special teams guy?
I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. You can
Well,
get
my thing is with a special teams guy, he's got to know everybody's strengths on the team.
Yeah, but you know what? That's the hot click of the thing now because that's what Joe Judge was in New England.
No.
No, I'm not saying against you, Chris. This is what people do in football. Joe Judge was a special teams coach, so now we got to go after a special teams coach. How about we go? You know what's perfect for the Jets? Go after the special teams coach. Go after the guy who was on the Lions who just got fired because they called the punt play and he called the fake play. Read up on that. He just got fired this week, the idiot. He called he went against the coach and he called for a fake punt, so they fired him. So there's your special team coach that would fit in perfect with the Jets.
Never mind, then.
Crazy.
So I have to say, since it's almost Christmas, what is one Christmas wish you want as a New York sports fan? This could be all your teams.
Wow. Honestly, and I would condense it down to one team, and it would be the Jets, because I'm a slash Yankee slash Met fan, which is kind of weird, but I like both teams. I was a Tom Seaver fan. They screwed me over and got rid of him not once but twice, but that's besides the point. So I became a Yankee fan, blah, blah, blah. I'm a Ranger fan, but I got to see them win in '94, so I lucked out.
You were there.
I actually and I was there. I actually like the Nets better than I like the Knicks, but that's besides the point.
Calm down.
Well, listen, it says Brooklyn, so to me, just like if the idiot Islanders would have said they were the Brooklyn Islanders, I would actually like them a little bit more, but that's besides the point.
Oh.
So I guess I would want something, and it would be for the Jets, and if I had one wish for the Jets, it's not so much winning the Super Bowl, but being competitive. Just get, whether it's Joe Douglas or whatever, I mean, make that team right somehow. How, I don't know. I don't know who that magical guy is anymore.
Be competitive for multiple years in a row. Like in 2009 and 2010 when that was...
It was fun.
That was so much fun. So much
Yes.
Fun. Right.
Yes.
Like
But that was a glimmer. That's the problem. That was our little glimmer, our little window. Yeah. You know, like I keep reverting back to like the '80s when the Jets got Richard Todd in the middle '70s. I was so happy. He's an Alabama quarterback, just like Joe Willie. Blah 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 blah. Big, strong, good-looking guy. Everybody looked up to him. Finally, in 1981-ish, around there, they got Freeman McNeil. Everything started clicking. They had the sack exchange going. And they gave us that little window for like 4 or 5 years where they were competitive. Make this Jet team competitive. That's what I would want. That's what I would want. Not this BS that goes on with this. I've seen championships. I want the Jets to have a run. I want to see something. That's what I want.
You don't want to be a laughing stock.
No, it's
they are every year.
Listen, and that's the best part about where I live. No one cares about the Jets here. They all hate the Giants or they hate the Eagles, and they all fight each other, and I just sit there and laugh. So I don't really care, Right. So, yeah, but when I go back home, I hear it from Giant fans, But, yeah, I would like our team to be competitive. I would like, not the same old Jets. I'm sick of that same old Jet thing. I am.
What's it going to take for them to shed that? An actual Super Bowl win, or like we were saying, sustained success?
Success, man. Just keep going with success. Yeah, obviously the end goal is getting the Super Bowl, and if you think about it, it's pretty crazy. If you were born in 1969, which was 51 years ago, whatever it was, I mean, you haven't seen them win the Super Bowl. I mean,
not even get there.
Right. Well, how crazy? But you know what, Joe? That even goes to look at if you put everything in a group, how many championships? The Giants won 2 championships. The Yankees won 1. I'm talking about the last 20 years.
Okay, right.
The Islanders, the Devils, the Rangers, they haven't won nothing.
They've been, but they just haven't won.
What's that?
They've been.
Like they've been there.
You're the best, Chris. You really are.
They just haven't won.
Nobody's won in the last 20 years.
Bills. They don't pay the internet bills in the borough house.
Nobody's won. What 2 giant Super Bowls? Am I missing something?
No, I'm saying the Rangers and stuff. They just haven't won.
They've been there, but they haven't won.
Yeah, but at least listen. I'm not a Lundqvist fan. You know I'm not. But at least they got to the cup. They were competitive. They kept getting to the conference finals. We saw stuff that was fun. What did we see with the Jets besides the 2 years that we went to the championship game, okay, which we lost? I can't believe one of them years we didn't win, But there's another thing. And you think history, they would know that. Like when they got rid of, what was the kicker's name that was an old pro with us?
Volk or Myers?
Jason
Myers. So they get rid of him. What happened years ago? What was the guy's name? O'Brien missed 3 field goals against Pittsburgh. I mean, or whatever it was. I mean, this is, you think the Jets would know, like history repeats itself with this team.
Right.
Like they wouldn't do stuff like this. It's just aggravating. You could write a book on the Jets on what not to do in professional sports. You don't have to be just football. It doesn't. Like we went through this whole thing with hiring coaches. Well, they hired Herm Edwards. Who was after Herm Edwards? How is he? He wasn't the hot coach, but we had to get him.
Right.
And I don't dislike Herm Edwards. I think he's great on TV and stuff like that. They went after. They got Mangini from New England, which I thought was a great move.
Yeah.
Belichick disciple, blah 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 blah. They finally got it right, I thought, with Rex Ryan, and they didn't give him enough time.
They didn't. No, that's true.
What was he there? 6 years? He brought us to 2 championships in 6 years. Tell me any other coach that did that on our team. None of them.
Maybe he'll come back.
Yeah, okay. That doesn't happen. This guy, Joe Douglas, is going to get somebody from Baltimore, somebody from the Eagles to coach the team.
I'll do it. Because Baltimore's a good team. They're a good franchise.
Off the top of my head, and maybe I'm wrong, how many Super Bowls have they won? 1 or 2?
I'm not sure, but they're always like you won.
1, right? 1 in 2000, somewhere around there.
They're always competing, right? Isn't that what you wanted? They always.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Yeah, but I guess once I think about it, you want to go to that next step too.
No, I get it.
The problem is there's so much parity in football.
Yeah.
Nobody wins year after year after year.
I get it. Except the Patriots when you hit it with their the top.
Well, but right, and they won 6 times, and they did. I think Kansas City's got a shot. You know what I'm trying to say? Especially this year, they got 2 games at home, and then they're in the Super Bowl. That's it. So they to me they got a shot. Well, we'll see what happens. I don't know. And it's another year. We're gonna sit there and watch football and watch everybody else's team. A guy just moved in next door to me last year. I always think he's got to be a Chief fan. And of all people to move next door to me, and I got to see this big 20-foot high blow up Chief thing with Chief flags. Nice guy, but I'm just saying, all over the place. I mean, this is the type of luck that we have. It's just demoralizing. It really is.
Well,
crazy.
We got to thank you so much for joining.
Oh, it's great. I had a great time.
Donnie.
Thank you.
Always welcome. So we'll bring you back. Make sure we'll talk to you about the Mets, Yankees, and also the Rangers.
Yeah, as long as we don't wait till the Jets are in the Super Bowl, because I'll probably be like 98 by then. Call me anytime, guys. Love you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Donnie.
Thank you. Love you too, Donnie. Merry Christmas.
Take care, guys.
All right.
Bye-bye.
And thanks so much to Donnie. I mean, we told you before he was going to be passionate, and that shows you right there. He was passionate. I mean, just unbelievable.
Yeah, that was great. I love his enthusiasm too, with cursing and everything. I loved it.
Speaking of enthusiasm, we have somebody in our waiting room right now that describes enthusiasm. Shows enthusiasm. Never a pessimist. We'll see if this latest Jets win made him an actual pessimist. Let's see.
So,
friend of the show, Derek Parrinello. Derek, what is going on?
What's going on, guys? What's going on? How's everything?
Good. How are you?
I've been better. State of our sports teams really isn't in the greatest shape right now. Our football team, at least.
Perfect, actually. That's the reason why you're here, because we had two other guests. The first guest was a little bit confused of how to feel. Second one was just totally tired and fed up of all the BS garbage that this team has put him through for the last 50 years. And now we kind of want to hear your point of view, how you're feeling after they shocked the world on Sunday and beat the Rams.
I really don't know, to be honest with you guys. I was going through the game on Sunday, and I had myself in a really, really difficult position of trying to think, do I want them to win or do I want them to lose? And I was like texting everybody, like, what do I do? What do I do? Because and it's crazy, but I don't think I've ever had a season where I was hoping that they were going to lose. And it just felt wrong.
even in 2018 when we had McCown, I mentioned this earlier with another person, but in 2018, I was all for the suck for Sam or Baker or Rosen or Allen movement because we had no quarterback. We had Josh McCown, and it was like about time where we needed to draft a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, I thought that there were three guys. Like you had Allen, you had Baker, and you had Darnold. So I felt okay about all three of those guys, and I felt like there really wasn't that big of a difference between any of those three. This year, I feel like there's such a huge difference between Lawrence and every other quarterback. And now that we won, and with Cincinnati beating Pittsburgh yesterday, which was crazy, we're going to have the number 2 pick. It's going to be either 1 or 2. And it's making me think about, are we keeping Sam? Do we want to keep Sam? Is he the future? Because to be honest with you, yeah. Did he have a pretty good game on Sunday? I thought he did. He made some nice throws. But it reminded me so much of Alex Smith. It scared me. Like, Alex, make the quick decision, the quick check down, the quick pass. He made 1 or 2 throws that were good, but there weren't any of those like wow plays that you were like, and he hadn't thrown for over 200 yards in like 6 weeks, 6 games, like 200 yards. Like Herbert had 200 yards in the first quarter the other day. Like, it's, I don't know if it's the coach or if it's the quarterback, and until we get that question answered, which I was hoping we would have an answer for with the quarterback question, I don't know where we really go. Like, honestly, I'm going throughout the day. Like, do we keep Darnold and trade the pick, or do we draft who? Is it, I don't know who's going to be the guy. And I just hate being in this position. I just feel like as Jets fans, we're always in this position. And I'm usually the eternal optimist. I'm usually the.
I introduced you as the eternal optimist, never pessimistic. None of that. Never a pessimist. And then I get this whole reserved energy, kind of drained and like deterred. And
Just seems confused.
You know what? I feel like I speak for a lot of Jets fans that we're just confused. Like, where do we go now from here? We lost. Like, I was like, I didn't want them to go 0-16. I just felt like, you know what? The Browns, the Lions, the Buccaneers, like they can have that. They can have that not winning a game in a season. We have so many other things that people make fun of us about. I just didn't need that one other thing. Like we went one season where we didn't win any games. I have to say, going to that optimist side, I feel like there are pieces there. I do feel like, Becton and Mims, and if Crowder comes back next year, you have Quinn and Williams on the other side. You got Marcus May if you bring him back. You got some young corners that showed a lot. I just think you have to answer the question. The most important position in all of professional sports is quarterback.
So does that mean you are for Joe Douglas because there's a lot of fans that aren't?
I have to say he had a really good draft this year. He has guys that are making impacts right now. He has rookie guys. He has undrafted free agents. He's got guys he made trades for that are making impacts. Yes. Did he make some mistakes, like drafting a quarterback in the 4th round, which I thought was completely pointless when we had all these receivers that everyone was talking about? Yes. But I felt like that he got a left tackle that I think is going to be an all-pro. He was pushing Aaron Donald all over the place yet on Sunday. I just think they need to answer that quarterback question. But I do like where we're going. I feel like we have some ammunition. We can make some moves in the draft. So that's my optimist side. But I was really hoping we would be able to say after this season that Darnold was the guy. And every week I'm seeing, and it's not just Gase. And I don't like Gase. I want them to move on from him after the season. But there are plays out there where there are wide open guys.
And he throws into triple coverage.
Or he's just missing them.
Yeah.
He doesn't throw it all or takes the sack. Or I get it. No, I understand.
and it's the uneasiness I get from being him in the pocket. Like I just sense that he wants to run, and it's like sometimes he's got a clean pocket and he runs anyway, and it's just like he's seeing things that aren't there. And I honestly think that Patriots game last year really messed him up.
You know what, though? I tell Joe this all the time, too. I tell my dad this. When he's under pressure consistently and then he has a clean pocket, the first thing in his mind is, if I don't get rid of the ball, I'm going to get hit. So you got to think of that, too.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of it, too, is there are things that you can't teach. You cannot teach the feel in the pocket. And like Tom Brady has it where he just kind of slides a little bit this way or slides a little bit that way. They're not running, but they just sense that there's guys around them and they can move and shift around in the pocket. And he doesn't have that. And he had something that first year that makes me think that he's the guy. And, people say that today, like he's 6 months younger than Joe Burrow. So like there's something there. It's just, are we to the point where we want to whiff on potentially, I think there's 4 quarterbacks coming out this year. Do we take a quarterback or not? That's, I'm trying to be optimistic, but I thought we had that question answered with the quarterback, and I don't know if we do.
I have a question for both of you now. It's a little delusional.
Let's hear this now.
But do you wait for a quarterback deep into the draft, say 3rd round, you take a guy and see what Darnold's made of? Get in a competition.
You already lost a 4th-round pick in Morgan this year, which was stupid, like you said, Derek. I mean, let's be honest. Morgan's not going to see the NFL field ever in his career.
That's why I don't know why he drafted him.
Right, which is another thing. Like, it made no sense for why they drafted him, especially now. Like, there are some people that say, "Oh, why not just put in James Morgan to see what you're made of?" And I said this so many times on the show already. See what he's made of, and that could be your way of tanking for the first draft pick. At the same time, though, he's going to be another Hackenberg where they wasted a draft pick where, like you said, he could have been a wide receiver or it could have been a lineman or somebody on the defense that they could have drafted, So that's what I don't like. So
I felt like that pick was a Gase pick.
Yeah.
That's where I had an issue with it because every round he was drafting and he was making solid value draft picks, and then he drafts a quarterback. And I'm like,
why?
Who's grooming a quarterback?
Yeah.
The quarterback we have isn't being groomed, so why are we bringing in another guy? Doesn't make sense to me. So, I mean, I don't know if I do that. I would lean more towards like bringing in a veteran to compete with him.
Yeah, Flacco.
I think to me, what I was thinking of was like, does Detroit want to move on from Matt Stafford? Is Atlanta done with Matt Ryan? Atlanta and Carolina are 2 teams that if they lose the next 2 weeks, they could potentially be ahead of the Bengals. If the Bengals win next week, they're playing Houston, which Houston could lose against the Bengals. The Bengals just beat Pittsburgh. So, if those teams are there, they may want to move up to take a quarterback. And do we want to move down? Like, to me, I'm open to anything. I'm leaning towards now keeping Darnold for one more season, seeing how he does, and just absolutely building around him. Like, draft Penei Sewell, bring in another receiver, sign Allen Robinson. We should have done what they did for Josh Allen in Buffalo this year. We should have brought in a receiver. We should have built around him with a whole bunch of talent. So we knew, yes, 100%. But it's the quarterback, and now it's leaning more towards, since we're not going to get Lawrence most likely, the coach is absolutely critical. Bringing in the right head coach.
Well, You saw with Ryan Tannehill with Gase. I don't know if it's just the coach. I don't know if it's Darnold. I don't know either, but Tannehill looks to be very well improved since he moved on from Miami.
I'll be totally fine with their offensive coordinator being our head coach.
Oh, Arthur Smith. Yeah. I
So
understand.
those are the guys that could potentially but I need a head coach. Like what drives me the most crazy about Adam Gase, besides the fact that he was brought here to make Darnold better and he hasn't, is the fact that he is if I have to look at him on the sideline and see him look at that play sheet one more time, like I don't know, like is something gonna magically come out to him and be like, oh, this is what you gotta run. Oh, okay. Like it's not gonna change what's on there. Like and like just a little emotion. I'd love that. Exactly, Joe.
Writing. What are you writing?
And then it's like, then it's the secret of who's calling the plays.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Dow Loggins relays the play call to me, and then I relay the play call to the quarterback. And I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense. That's the reason why we're breaking out of the huddle with 15 seconds left in the play clock, and we can't do any audibles or anything. We're like rushing to the line to get a play because we're literally playing telephone with the play call.
So we're the only team that I know that comes out of a timeout and gets to delay a game.
So I mean,
seriously,
I really hope that we bring in the right coach. I really hope that they bring this in and let Christopher Johnson needs to let Joe Douglas run the show here. If they brought him in, they gave him a big contract. Let him bring in all his personnel, let him run the show, and let him bring in the coach. Because honestly, I was thinking about it today. Like I am a fan of well-run organizations, but my football team. I'm a Yankees fan, I'm a Rangers fan, and I'm a Jets fan. And I don't understand. I think I kind of push I just think that they're going to be a well-run organization just because the other two teams that I'm a fan of are well-run organizations, and it's just not true.
So I asked this earlier. Is Adam Gase the most hated man in all of the new tri-state area?
I think so.
You think so? One of my friends Dan mentioned that it was James Dolan, but I said, then you have the team behind me who he is a great owner for the Rangers.
Well, he lets them do what they want,
That's what I'm saying. So I wouldn't say that. And at one point, I would say the Wilpons would have been the most hated men in all of the state. But I honestly think that Adam Gase has clinched that, especially after they won on Sunday. I think that's what made a lot of Jet fans be like, man, this team can't do anything right. This coach can't do anything right. They're making them win when we're supposed to lose and all that kind of shit.
I was listening to the radio the other day, and Rex Ryan was on, and he said something that really resonated with me. He said the biggest problem with Adam Gase is that he never endeared himself to the fan base.
True. Yep.
Never.
Rex did.
And you need a coach that is going to endear himself to the fan base. And it doesn't have to be like Rex Ryan, like coming in and saying we're going to win the Super Bowl. Yeah, did I like that? Yeah, because we were the laughing stock, and he was like, no, this is going to stop right here, and this is what we're going to do. And it doesn't have to be that. It could, but I just want to feel like the guy is actually in it with us. And he's not like, oh, I called the right play, but they just didn't execute. Like, it's just like, I don't think I've heard that from a coach where you're just like, well, an employed coach that's just like, I called the right play, but they messed up.
Yeah, they blame everybody else.
They did it wrong. It was a perfect play call. And I just like, you know who's the second most hated man? Probably Peyton Manning, because he's the one that called, Christopher Johnson and said, bring in Adam Gase.
Adam Gase. The best guy ever. Meanwhile, me or you.
He's a quarterback whisperer. Don't forget.
Chris and Derek could have been the offensive coordinator when Peyton Manning was in Denver. So I don't want to hear that.
Peyton Manning was the offensive coordinator in Denver.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly.
Adam Gase just brought him a cup of water when he was on the sideline. Like it's just, two big questions that we have to answer this offseason. And you got to leave it to Douglas. But who's going to be the coach and who's going to be the quarterback? And if it's going to be Darnold, they got to put more around him. And I don't know if he's necessarily the quarterback that can make guys around him better. I think he needs a good situation to be in for him to be able to succeed.
Well,
And
look at the bright side. If you do go with your plan and they do sign, they keep Darnold, right? They draft the offensive lineman, Sewell. They'll bring in a wide receiver. They will really make the team around him better, right? Let's say if Darnold is not the answer after next year, you cut your losses with him, but you still have a team around him where if you draft somebody, you could sign a stopgap quarterback and see if you could draft somebody else. And obviously, it's that never-ending cycle. It's that Band-Aid type solution that we were accustomed to with Fitzpatrick, with McCown, with all those guys. But at the same time, football is a team game. My Uncle Pat, who was on the show earlier, he was saying that, Lawrence is just one guy. Yes, he would have made the team a little bit better, but in the end, he still has the same weapons that Darnold had.
let me ask you a question. Name me a Super Bowl winning team the last 10 years.
I have a good quarterback. I get that. No,
Yep.
You got to have a guy. You got to have a guy, and you got to have a guy just play out of his mind in the playoffs. And the quarterback is the most important position. And you got to have that. You got to have that solid. But let me ask you guys a question. So I don't think Flacco is it, but I was hearing today, would you guys want to bring in Wentz from Philadelphia?
absolutely not. And
I have had this argument before.
deal with that contract?
Well, we also have a ton of cap space. And if we're taking on that contract, Philadelphia's got to give us some draft picks for that.
I would not.
He doesn't have anybody.
Well,
Yeah, Chris, your internet again is messed up.
so I mean, thinking about it, I know it's a big cap hit.
That's my argument. He doesn't have anyone.
That link to Joe Douglas is there,
Right.
because Joe Douglas scouted Carson Wentz, and he was on the Eagles. He was in the Eagles front office when they drafted him. So that link is there. That there's a potential that he may want to go down that road. But if you're going down that road, then you're getting rid of Sam. You're not having a competition that way. I think there's something there with Wentz. I just think he kind of lost it somehow with all the injuries, and I guess but
What if he's permanently gone? You would rather deal with that contract and Wentz instead of seeing Darnold himself?
so I'll put it this way. What if they offered us like their first round pick this year and a third rounder next year to take on Wentz's contract?
And what would we give up?
Nothing. We're taking on the contract.
We would have to give up something. It's their
Yeah,
start.
a 6th rounder, 7th rounder.
No way they're going to do a 6th rounder for Carson
We're
Wentz.
taking that contract off their hands.
Give up a bullshit pick.
I get that, but I feel like Philadelphia is going to ask for like a 3rd rounder at least for Carson Wentz. I mean, this guy wants an MVP caliber quarterback.
So then you say, okay, have a nice day.
Okay, well, there you go.
You get stuck with that $50 million cap hit,
All right.
or we'll take that off your hands. And there's a way you could spread that cap hit over 2 years. So if it's past June 1st, you can take that $50 million and spread it to this year and next year. I mean, there's going to be a lot of talent out there because there's a lot of teams that are going to be well over the cap. But there's going to be a lot of players available.
You're right. And we had this conversation before. You're right about that. And the Jets are going to be there to pick up all the pieces, hopefully. But then again, you got to try to make it a good environment. So again, it goes with the coach. If you have a good coach in place, if you have some people around it, it's going to make the Jets a more desirable destination. But if it's the same shit where they have some bad coach and ready, it's just like, oh well, why would I want to go to the Jets? They're perennial losers. They're garbage. They're the franchise that never does anything right. And let alone the whole injury situation where they mishandle injuries and now they're under investigation for that. So
this is the most important coaching hire that we've had in a really long time. Absolutely. This is the coaching hire that's gonna change hopefully change this for the next few years. But the whole key is the quarterback, the coach, and Douglas drafting well. Because this is the reason why we're here. Because if you look at the last 6 drafts before this past season,
Been garbage.
like 80% of the players aren't even in the league anymore. They don't even play. Like, I think it's like Leonard Williams, Jamal Adams. I can't think of anybody else.
Anybody else? Yeah.
And it's just like,
But there was an insane stat
I mean,
about that there's like one first rounder.
yeah. And it's like, oh, Jordan Jenkins. But I mean, like, still, like, it's that's the draft is how you build sustained success.
Right.
The Saints had one season where they drafted Alvin Kamara, they drafted a safety, they drafted a lineman, they drafted a whole bunch of players that are starting for them. Like that, those are the kind of drafts that you need to have to be able to turn things around. I do think there is some pieces there, you know, but I just think we need a little more. We need a few more drafts, and you know, I like the trade of Jamal Adams. I hate seeing him there, but then again, he's always such a me guy. It's not even funny, and it wasn't the time to pay $20 million to a safety. I know we don't want to get into the habit of just letting guys leave, but he doesn't impact the game enough to be willing to pay him that.
You're right.
You know,
Not at all.
so I mean,
Look,
I'm trying to be optimistic, but it's still tough.
I will say that. I will say this: with Christmas being this week, we have to get in the Christmas spirit. So, a couple of things. We are approaching the anniversary of when you tossed your friend out of the house on Christmas Eve between the Jets and Giants back in 2000.
He ruined Christmas for me that year.
That was one of my favorite stories of you. But also, like, I guess in general, this is more not just a Jets question, but for all your teams, you're a Jets, Yankees, Rangers, and Knicks fan, you would say. What is one Christmas wish you would want for all of those teams?
Damn, that's tough. I would like we'll start with the Rangers first, just because I see the flag behind you, and I just,
Jersey behind me too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I love that jersey.
Yeah.
Glad they brought it back this year. I would want, I want a championship. I want a championship from the Rangers. I feel like they're on the cusp. They got a really nice young team that's exciting to watch. And I think they are the closest out of any of my teams to really be in there to win a championship.
More than the Yankees.
I think the Yankees are there. I am a different type of Yankees fan where I have understood the championships. I've appreciated the championships. I've appreciated the fact that we are there every single season. We're there on every single free agent, and that is big for me. And I guess my Jets fandom has helped with me being a Yankees fan, with the fact that I am not, I don't always say, like, we got to win a championship every year. If we don't win this year, it's a failure. I'm there. I do want them to win, but at the same point, I want my teams to just be there. I want them to be relevant, and I want them to just have an opportunity to win every year.
Right.
And different sports teams, every sport is a little different, but I feel like you got to get in. If you can get in, anything can happen. You could catch fire, and you could ride that all the way to a championship. And I've seen it. Like 2009, yeah, we had a great team, the Yankees. They were awesome. But they got hot. You got to get hot when you get into the playoffs. And, when the Rangers had their run, they got hot. They had some timely goals.
They weren't the best team that
goaltending. They weren't.
They weren't the best team, and they went a long way. So that absolutely.
So I think my Christmas wish, to get back to your question, would be for all of my teams to just be relevant and just be in it and have an opportunity to win every single season.
And not like a laughing stock, right?
Not a laughing stock.
We always are, and we always.
I mean, to give you one Jetsy stat and start to jump back to it, but no team ever in football has gone 1-15 and not gotten the number 1 overall pick.
We were just talking about this.
And
Johnny.
this season might be the season that we go 1-15
I know.
and we don't get the number 1 pick and we get the number 2. Actually, the only time that happened, they were talking about it today. The Panthers would have gotten the number 1 pick, but the Houston Texans were coming in as an expansion team, so they were going to be guaranteed the number 1 pick.
Oh,
That was the only other time that was like close to happening. But beginning of the season, they told everybody like the Texans are getting the number 1 pick. Everyone else is playing for 2. So it's just like I just want them to be relevant. To get back to the Jets, I just want them to be there and be relevant, and all my teams to just be there and be relevant and have an opportunity to win every year. And that's really what any fan should ask for. Just being relevant and just having an opportunity to win. That's really all we want. Yeah, we want a championship. We want to win, but we want our teams to just be like, have an opportunity to be like, you know what? We didn't win this year, but my team is one of the best teams there. That's it.
right.
You're competitive. It's great.
You know, when you're like we've had with the Jets, I don't even remember the last time. 2010?
Yeah. Yep.
That was the last time we were a relevant team.
That was it. That was it.
I mean, like
2015 maybe when we went to the last week of the year and Fitzpatrick.
I tell my wife all the time, I am going to die a lot earlier than I should have because of the Jets.
Look, to wrap this up,
It's gonna happen.
I had this sweatshirt that I feel like goes to you. You know, win, lose, or tie, I'm a Jets fan till I die.
Yeah.
That's it. You're gonna be buried with that. That's gonna be. I'll make sure that's in. You're gonna be dressed with that.
I appreciate that, Joe. Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah.
Derek, thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
We'll have you.
Thank you, Derek.
Yeah, no problem.
More about hockey, about baseball when it gets closer. All right.
Sounds good. Love the show, guys. Keep it up.
Merry Christmas. Have a great one. Love you.
Merry Christmas. Love you.
Talk to you later.
All right, bye-bye.
See you later.
Derek Parrinello, another Jets fan, the eternal optimist, no more. It looks like the Jets beat that out of him. But I just have to say this thing. You know, we had 3 Jets fans. They gave us all perspective.
It's just so drained. Like,
Oh, you see, you messed up my clothes. You messed up my clothes with your internet connection.
what do you want me to do, Joe?
Unbelievable. Well, perfect time. We got to end up now. We got to end this show now. But, okay, what were you going to say?
I was just saying he was so drained, but
That's exactly what I said. But listen, I think we had 3 fans here today that they all gave us their perspective on what the Jets did to them this weekend and moving forward. You heard from us. What is your Christmas wish, I guess, for your teams and life?
My teams and life.
And make this quick.
So my teams is to be competitive like everybody else because I root for all losers. And for life, get a steady job. What about you?
All right, that's good. That's good. I just want this pandemic to end so I could actually have a life all over again. But listen, it was fun. I think
What about for your teams?
Listen, the Mets, I want George Springer. The Jets, Sam Darnold has to figure it out, please, and get a good coach. Hopefully, Bieniemy. The Rangers compete for a playoff spot this year, and the Knicks and Nets. The Nets get a title, and the Knicks surprise some people this year. All right.
Only the Nets are up by a lot of points right now. It's just making me sick to my stomach. So let's forget about the Nets.
Perfect. All right. So we are going to wish all of our listeners
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. We hope you have a wonderful, wonderful holiday and stay safe. Stay distant. Don't do anything stupid. Be smart. And listen, we'll see you on the other side, all right?
Have a good one, fellas.
Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time. You going to wrap it up with a JETS? Nah.
No.
Good. Have a good night.